Hey guys, greetings and salutations. This is James. Want to welcome all of you guys. Thank you for stopping by. I really wanted to just address a very important topic at hand. So before we get into that topic, I do want to encourage you to like and subscribe. Here at the famous Wilderness Park here in Downey, California, not too far from my house, so I thought I'd knock this video out. I thought it was something that was really on my mind, the concept, and so I really wanted to just kind of share it with you guys. And I had an experience years ago at a job that I thought was very interesting, and I just want to bring this up to you. And really the idea of what I want to discuss is the idea of really recognizing someone's value after they've left. After they've left a job, after they've left a relationship, after they've left some type of position, but recognizing a person's value after they left. Now, I know that as human beings, we make mistakes, so sometimes it's not us that necessarily left, and then, I'm gonna say people started appreciating our value. But sometimes it's us. Sometimes we are the person that really didn't appreciate a person until they left and until we didn't have the opportunity to connect with them anymore. And so I really want to discuss that by actually discussing an experience I had that I'm gonna say is very memorable to me regarding a job that I had many years ago when I was still in my mid 20s or so. And I'll just start off by saying that I've been working with children for 20 plus years. I've been working with children for 20 plus years, and I have to say it's been an incredible journey for me. I'm excited because it seems like more opportunities are always opening up for me to connect with children and really just expand the gift that God has given. But with that said, I've also been in a lot of different experiences or a lot of different situations where I was finding myself not only growing in my connections with people, but also really kind of just learning how to connect with children, how to connect at their level and things like that. And so one of my first jobs was working at a school for special needs children, and I was there for about 6 years. And I really enjoyed the experience a lot. It was one of the greatest experiences I have to say I had. I learned a lot of what I learned today with that foundation of those 6 years working with children with special needs. And one of the things I learned essentially was that not to really discriminate or really put children down or expect them not to be able to do certain things just because of their special needs, but really learn how to communicate with them effectively at their level, so really just meeting them where they are, just like you would do any human being. But with that said, I do remember for this 6-year span of being at this job, not necessarily feeling like I was valued the way that I feel like an employee or employer should be valuing an employee. There were a lot of people that came and went through this job, and it just seemed like there was always this rate of people coming in and out all the time. And it didn't occur to me that it was not a very healthy environment until maybe later on when I was maybe 25, 26, and I was there for like 6 years. So I grew up in this environment watching a lot of amazing people come in the job, but also leave the job. And I never understood why they were leaving until as I matured, I realized that the director at the time was not very mature themselves when it came to how they conducted themselves as a leader and as an employer. Now, one of the things that was very difficult for me was trying to find not only my way as a younger man, not only with relationships, not only with my personal philosophies and my understandings of my role as a Christian man, but also trying to figure out what was my role as an employee, or more specifically, somebody that works with children. That was something that really resonated with what is my role working with children. And as I was growing in my understanding of being a teacher and being a teacher's aide and all these different positions I had at the school, and sometimes having to take initiative with what it is that I had to do at this job, I realized that the director was really getting over on a lot of us. She wasn't paying a certain rate that other schools would consider competitive. There were other schools that were around us, and the employees were getting paid more and don't get me wrong, I don't think that money should be everything when it comes to how we work, how we conduct ourselves, especially as a Christian man, a Christian woman. That should be the last thing that we prioritize. But at the same time, we do need money to live. We need money to function. And we can't properly serve other people if we can't pay for our gas, to put in our car, or we can't pay for, to eat, and have nourishment for our body, or be able to properly rest in a safe environment because we can't even pay rent or our mortgage, So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that money doesn't matter at all, but I'm just saying that it has its position, it has its role. With all that being said, as I continue to work in this work environment, the director was really just, sometimes she was firing people because they really didn't, obey her very weird and strange expectations. I've seen some amazing people leave the job crying off the job, and they were let go because, she just treated this environment like it was some type of Honestly, in a way I could say she treated the school like some type of playground, like she was the bully. She was the one in charge, and she wasn't very mature. You know, she didn't really conduct herself in a professional way, I will say that, at least at the time. And I remember my mother at the time was also working at a school, and my mother was working at a school doing basically the same thing I was doing. She was working with children that were a little bit older, but I remember one day I was still living with my mom, and one of her paychecks was literally on the floor as we were just, I don't know, we were, hanging out, and I seen one of her paychecks, and I just glimpsed at the amount of money she made, and I said, "Oh, Mom, it looks like we make the same amount of money." And so I looked at her and I assumed that was like my paycheck. It was once a month, I've got paid once a month. And I looked at her paycheck and I said, "Oh, okay, we look about the same." But then my mother said something that I'll never forget. She told me, "Oh, that's not my paycheck for the month. That's only one of my paychecks for the month." And after I heard that, I realized that I needed to leave my job, because I was putting myself and putting everything that I could, my spirit, my efforts, my mind, everything. I was devoting myself to this job. However, I was not being compensated accordingly, especially after seeing my mom was, she had benefits, she had all these different, 401k, all these different retirement plans, available at her job. So I made the decision that it was time to leave. And I'll never forget, I actually took the time to let the director know I needed to talk to her. I think it stood out to her that I was the one asking to see her, because, I've never asked to see her the 6 years I was at the job. So I think it really stood out to her, and I think she suspected something was gonna happen. I'll never forget that I already applied for this other job where my mom actually worked, and it was a very big group at the time, so they had different sites all over Los Angeles County. So I was very confident that I could find somewhere to work. But I went to I took off my job where I was working with children with disabilities, and I went to this large school, the main office, and I applied, and it seemed like, because I had the 6 years of working with children with disabilities and just in general, I think that the job really responded, and so they were ready to hire me immediately, like the next day. And so I told them that although I'm flattered with the opportunity, I wanted to give my current job time for me to, for them to find somebody to replace me. So I wanted to give that 2-week window, just to be kind, just to be, professional. And so I did that, and I arranged that. So I already had a job lined up. I was so thankful to God, but I did, like I said, make arrangements to talk to my director. And I remember the awkward position of being this, 25, 26-year-old in this office with the director, and she basically, provided a lot of opportunities for me, but I think she was under the impression that, I sort of owed her, because she helped me, all this time with this job and things like that. And so I told her straight up that, I was actually giving her 2 weeks notice that I'm gonna be moving to another job. There is, it's more lucrative to some extent, and just I discussed the benefits. The children are a little older, I can communicate with them more, and I was just trying to discuss this with her. And I remember, because of her lighter complexion, she started to actually turn red as we were discussing our having our conversation, a very awkward conversation. And I remember right at that moment, she started to offer me all these extra benefits that she didn't really allow me to have, I didn't have access to, or didn't even know that was available beforehand. She started to offer me more sick time, more vacation time, more money. And I thought to myself, how interesting this has taken place, in which now I'm ready to leave the environment, I'm ready to go. And now she's providing all these extra benefit. Now she's willing to do what it takes to actually keep me and value me and acknowledge my importance, And I just thought how sad it was that it wasn't until right at this moment when I'm ready to leave, now she's ready to offer me all these different things that maybe she should have offered beforehand, So I would have had a better understanding of, okay, I am valued here and I am being compensated according to what it is I can offer. So maybe I would not have considered leaving the job and already made these arrangements. Eventually I made the jump, and it was very beneficial. It opened up a lot more opportunities for me. I stayed at that job another 5-6 years at the new job, and from there it opened up phenomenal opportunities. So I'll probably unpack a lot of that in future videos. But one of the things I really just want to cover is it's very important that when it comes to not only our employees or even our employers, but even if it's just relationships with people, our relationships with our spouse or our partner, or maybe a friendship, or maybe, our peers or neighbors, make sure that you acknowledge them and make sure you appreciate them for whom they are. And as you have them and you have them accessible today. There are a lot of times when sometimes we lose people and we start regretting not spending more time with them or not connecting with them the way that we could have when we had access to them, when we had them. And we can avoid a lot of that regret by just really embracing the opportunities that we have with people today, you know? So it's really important just to keep that in mind. Don't be one of those people that as soon as somebody's ready to leave and somebody's ready to walk out the door, now you're ready to change, now you're ready to fix everything. Now you're ready to see what it is that you can do to accommodate them. Maybe more money, maybe more attention, maybe you want to buy flowers all of a sudden, maybe you want to try to accommodate them now that they're ready to step out the door. There are some opportunities where people are going to be kind, people are going to be nice, and they're going to allow you to demonstrate if you can value them, and they'll give you a second chance or third chance or whatever. But you're going to have those situations where people are not going to give you a second chance, and they're going to leave, and then that's going to be it, you know. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody, because obviously, you know, we share this world with 7 billion people plus. So there are a lot of people that we can meet. There are a lot of people, opportunities to connect with people, friendships, relationships, employers, employees. But there are some people that may stand out to us, people that have a very unique value that it's not going to be very easy to replace them if they walk out of our lives, you know. So I think it's very important just to keep that in mind. Don't wait until somebody's ready to leave or they're in the process of leaving that you want to start making the necessary changes to start valuing them all of a sudden, you know. And it goes with your friendships as well. Be careful and be mindful that you're not neglecting certain friendships when they need you, when they really require, you know, your help and things like that. And I'm not talking about money. Sometimes it's just emotional support. It's just being available when they're down and out, you know. So just keep that in mind, guys. God bless you guys. I hope you guys were able to take something from this. I appreciate everyone just supporting my channel. I'm really trying to learn my way around all of this YouTube world and things like that. Again, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.